Hi everybody, quick video tutorial here on how to use the CUNY Academic Commons site to make your writing portfolio. So a little bit of backstory, CUNY Academic Commons is a shell of WordPress, which is a blog hosting platform that you may have heard of or used at some point in time in the past. If not, that's totally fine. This is a very user-friendly, once you get used to it, user-friendly program that you'll be able to use to build your portfolio. It's really customizable. This is, just to preface this, I suppose, this is the third take I've made of myself trying to make this video. And I deleted the first and second one because I ummed and I awed so many times that I felt ridiculous when I was listening back to it. So I'm going to try not to do that, but who knows, maybe my really bad speaking habits will get the better of me. Anyway, I apologize. Try to bear with me. I will keep this as sweet and short and to the point as I possibly can. There are just a couple of basic functions of Academic Commons that I want to take you through. There are also a lot of other things beyond the basic functions that you can do, and I really encourage you, once you've got the basics down, to try to play around with it, to try to make your portfolio your own, just in terms of layout and aesthetics and all this kind of stuff. You have a lot of latitude here. You can basically do what you want to do as long as you hit the basic requirements, all of which, by the way, are listed on Blackboard. So I just want to show you the very basic tools that you need to build your site, and then beyond that, it's kind of up to you what you do. You can also make time with me if you're trying to do something and you're not really sure how to make it work and you want to work through it with me later on. At any point in time, at the end of class, after we've done presentations, if you have one-on-one questions you want to ask me, that's totally fine. This isn't the only help I'm going to give you when it comes to building the site. I just want to give you the basic tour. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you will need to register. Unless you've used this for a class in the past, which if you have, great, but most of you probably haven't. So the first thing you need to do is click this register button right here. I can't do it because I've already registered and I can't repeat the process with the same CUNY affiliated email. So you just click the register button, follow the directions that it gives you. It's not very difficult, it shouldn't be too complicated. Once you have established your username and password, it will direct you to log in. So you will click this login button and it takes you right here. So I have been on the site many times. I already have a profile, so it automatically populates the username and email fields, or sorry, username and password fields with my information. So you'll just fill yours in there and then log in. And you should see something like this when you log in. The one difference is that you will probably not have any sites or groups. I've used this for classes that I've taught, and I've also used this for classes that I have taken as a student. So I have all of my Academic Commons history here in front of me. Yours will probably just be blank. All this other stuff, I don't know, ignore that. It's not helpful. What you need to do is build a site. So here's how we do that. If you go up to the top right of the screen here, there's a little thumbnail that's your, I don't know, randomly assigned profile picture. You'll hover over that and then a drop-down menu will appear. You scroll down to My Sites and you are going to click Create a Site. All these sites here are sites that I've either created to actually use for a class or sites that I've made while filming example videos on how to use CUNY Academic Commons. So if you probably won't see anything here, any pre-made sites. That's totally fine, don't worry about it. Just click Create a Site. So it's going to take you to this page. There are three different options you can take. There's the groups option, there's the sites option, and there's the connected group plus site option. The only thing you need to do is make a site. So don't worry about the groups or the connected group plus site. Just go to this middle column and click Create a Site. So I'm going to briefly run you through these sort of beginning steps you need to take in order to get your site up and running. You're going to click Create a New Site. Do not clone an existing site. You need to determine a site domain. A domain is like the URL. If you don't know what that is, that's this stuff up here at the top. So site domain can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be related to the class. It can be you. It can be your name. It can be something you think is cool. Something, I don't know. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not like weird or profane, you can make it whatever you want it to be. So let's say I make my site domain let's go Mets .commons.gc.cuny.edu. That'll just be the URL that I take to get to your site. You maybe want to make something like more relevant to the class, so it can just say ENG 110 portfolio. Just kidding, that's too long. Okay, guess this is pretty strict limit on that. I'm going to go back to let's go Mets, because it does not actually matter what you make your domain. Site title, this matters. This is something when you go to the site, and by the way, sorry, if it's not clear already, by site I mean portfolio. Your portfolio will be its own site hosted by Academic Commons. So your site title is the title of your portfolio. You may find that your writing over the course of the semester has fallen into the same sort of set of topics. If you feel like there's sort of a thematic, something that unifies them thematically, then you can title your site accordingly if you want to. Say you wrote a lot about, I don't know, the arts. Or, let's see, representation, issues of representation of the arts. You could say rhetoric and probably the wrong word. Say rhetoric and identity. That's pretty broad. So if there was nothing thematically connecting your writing, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be titled that way. It can just be your name, Ian's portfolio, or whatever you want. But it should be, either like an identification of like yourself. Here's me. Here's my portfolio, or the theme that you're going to be themes that you worked with over the course of the semester. You'll have to choose a campus. Obviously, that's City College. Primary purpose is portfolio, which you can see in this scroll down menu here. License, don't change anything. Just leave that as it is. Privacy options, also leave that so that it's totally public. There's no security concern here. You're not putting any personal information on this. This is just some work of yours. So when you leave it set so that it's totally public, it makes it so that it removes any issues relating to me being able to access the site. Sometimes when you choose a different privacy option, something goes wrong and I can't see your site. So just for ease of access, leave it totally public. From here, you need to choose a site layout. So it gives you a couple different options for templates. You can ultimately choose whatever you want. However, I would encourage you to choose the academic portfolio template. You are making a portfolio, and this makes it much easier. But if you decide that you're unsatisfied with the portfolio template, then you can look at some of these other ones if you so choose. Your call. So you have entered in all of the basic information here under site details. You've chosen a template, and now you can begin to work on your site. So you'll click this Create a Site button at the very bottom, and it should give you a nice congratulatory little message. There it is. Congratulations, your site has been created. So don't worry about inviting others to join the site, just go to the site. So this is what you're working with. If you've chosen this template, at least, the title is what you want it to be, the URL is what you want it to be, the domain. Everything else is not what you want it to be. It populates the site automatically with all default language. It gives you this default menu. You don't want any of these. You don't want it to say this. You probably don't want it to look like this. All of these things we can change. There are two ways to change your site to editing tools. The first one is this Customize tab. It's right up the top next to the paintbrush. The Customize tab will allow you to make aesthetic changes. So you can change this color of the header. You can put a photo under the header. You can change the subtitle here. You can add little decorative things on the side. it's all superficial stuff. Not that it's meaningless. I mean, you should want your portfolio to look nice, right? But it's not. You're not going to be able to enter any of the information you need. You're not going to be able to like put your essays into the portfolio or anything from the customization tab. It's just surface level stuff. But I'll show you how to do that real quick, or what you can do with that real quick. So you click the Customize tab, little menu will pop up on the left. Great. Okay, so themes. There are so many different themes you can choose from. If you click this Change Theme button, these are just the ones that are pre-installed. I think there's a way to get more. Maybe you have to pay for that. I don't know. Someone called When I Was Bad. It's weird. So you can look through these. If any of these speak to you, by all means, use them. You might want to think about, if it has these like pre-made images built into it, think about if it really makes sense that you're using that theme. But the one, it's your call what theme you want to make. You totally go with your gut, whatever you think makes sense given your topic and whatever just appeals to you. One word of caution: choose your theme. If you decide you want to work with a different theme than the default theme, choose it at the beginning. Don't wait until you've input all of your information, all of your content, because what happens when you put your content in and then change the theme is that different themes lay out content differently. So then you'll go back, and one of the pages in your portfolio now is arranged totally differently and things are in the wrong place and it looks bad and you don't know why that happened. It's because you changed themes after putting content in. So choose your theme first if you decide you want to change your theme, and then enter all of your information. So for the sake of the presentation, I am going to stick with the Academica theme. So that's theme. Site identity. Site title is this, Ian's portfolio. You can change that if you want to. Tagline can be some kind of subtitle. Let's say I wrote a lot about identity politics over the course of the semester, so might say on rhetoric and identity politics. So now there's a subtitle there, which is cool. Site icons are, okay, so if you look at my tabs up here, you see in this one there's a little CUNY logo. That's the site icon. So if you really want to get, I don't know, into the like flair of your portfolio, you can add a site icon, up to you. One quick note: whenever you make a change, make sure you hit publish before you exit out. If you exit out before you hit publish, then all your changes disappear. So this is the save button. I know we use Google Docs now, we're not used to having to save anything, but you have to save things when you're working on Academic Commons. So hit publish, great, we're published, we're saved, we're good to go. So a lot of these things are extremely extremely self-explanatory. You can add a site logo. I actually forget where this site logo goes when you add one. Okay, so I uploaded this cool picture I took of a cactus. Click choose image. It doesn't even show up. Oh, I think I knew. Okay, I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. Anyway, maybe one of you can figure it out. It's not really necessary. You don't need to have a site logo by any means. You can change the colors, so you can make the header something different if you want to. Totally up to you. Choose colors you like, but bear in mind that it should look professional, right? So don't choose something that looks like hard to look at. So I find a color that I like. I don't like that color. That's too bright. That's better. So I click publish, and now I have a purple header. You can also choose a header image. Header image is just a picture that goes behind your header instead of a color, if you want to have a picture up there. Background image, the background image puts a picture where the text is, so where it says welcome and it has all this like boilerplate text, an image will go behind it. Very rarely does that work. A lot of times it just makes the text hard to read, especially what's going to go on this page eventually is long form writing, right? Your reflections, your essays. So you're not going to want to have anything distracting on it, anything that makes it hard to read the text. So maybe there are some circumstances in which putting a background image makes sense. I doubt it. So just to give you an example, this is what happens. It makes it really, really hard to read, right? So I'm just going to remove that. But the tool's there if you decide you want to use it. So menus, I'm going to come back to the menus later. You probably don't want to mess with those now because you're going to want to change what's actually like in the menus. So just as a sort of heads up, right now these are your menu items here. Is welcome, CV, research, teaching, service, and news. That's just the menu items that they give you as a default for this theme. We're going to later on change them so that it says, reflections, and then you have one tab for source-based essay, one tab for your inquiry-based research essay, one tab for your composition in 2 genres project. So since the menu items are going to change, I would probably not worry about the menu right now until you've actually put all the right information into each of these tabs. So widgets, I guess I can cover that quickly. You can just add these kind of like extra things to the left or right sidebar of your portfolio or beneath it. So just to give you an example of the kind of things you can do, they have this thing called a block editor, which a block is just like a thing, a piece of media or whatever that you want to put in somewhere on this page. So there's all kinds of things you can embed into the page. You can embed a pull quote or a quote, a list on the side that could kind of be like a table of contents type deal, maybe an image if you want, some audio, any other kind of file, like a PDF or something. You can put a video if you decide you want to add a video in there. You could throw in a page break. You can arrange things into columns. You can, I don't even know, all kinds of stuff you can throw in there. But this might not be totally helpful to you. I think some people can add some of these widgets and it makes it look a little bit nicer. But for the most part, it just makes things kind of cluttered and weird. So just to give you an example of what it looks like, if I were to do quote, and I want to add a quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So saith Wayne Gretzky. So now there's this little quote on the side of your page. That's all that this stuff does. Decide I want to keep it, sure. Click publish. I have saved my site. So the homepage settings, basically what that means is as of right now, the page that's titled Welcome on the menu is your homepage, meaning when you go to this URL, then this is the page it takes you to. You'll probably want that. Your first page will be like an overview of the kind of writing you did over the course of the semester, so you'll want that to be your homepage. I guess if you decide you want a different essay to be the homepage or a different tab in your portfolio to be the homepage, then that's fine, it's your call. But you can change that there under homepage settings. So again, this is just sort of the superficial stuff, the decorative layout kind of stuff, which is important, but not the meat and potatoes of your project. So let's take a look at the meat and potatoes of your project. You can exit out of the Customize tab there. In order to make any actual changes to the content of the site, you'll need to hover over your site name in this top menu. So where it says Ian's Portfolio is the name of my site. And then you will click Dashboard. And it will take you to the control panel for your site. Basically everything you're going to want to do is under the Pages tab. So hover over Pages, you'll see where it says All Pages. And this gives you just a list of the pages that are on your site. These are the pages that were menu items on the site. And right now they're still titled the way that they are in just like the default template setting. So you know that you're going to need to have a page for, excuse me, reflections, and then a page for each of your 3 projects. So welcome page is the front page, and we know that we want that to be our sort of overview reflections page. So let's go ahead and change that. So you'll hover over the page name, and this edit option will come up where it says edit block editor. There's also a different form of editor. The classic editor I think is way less friendly to use. I guess you can mess with it if you want to, but I don't encourage you to. Block editing makes things very, very easy. So the way it looks on the site right now, and if you forget the way something looks and you want to take a look at it again without messing up what you're doing here, you can just click preview at any point in time, preview a new tab, and it'll show you the way your site looks as of right now. So we know that the first page is a welcome page, says welcome, and says all this nonsense here. Great. You can exit out of this. Now we know we need to make some changes. So this is not going to be a welcome page. It's going to be a reflections page. So all of this text here, this is not helpful to us. So we're going to delete it. Boom, it's gone. So here now, you can just paste in, copy and paste in any content that you want to go here. So I don't have a reflection on hand that I can paste in to show you, but just say okay. So I've written something into the text area that goes underneath my header. Before I make any changes, of course, I'm going to want to preview. So click preview again. I would always encourage you to click preview in a new tab. Great. So now what once said welcome now says reflections. And below that in the actual text it says, hi there, my name is Ian, and boy do I have a portfolio to show you. My Wayne Gretzky quote is still there on the left. So great, this looks the way that I wanted to look. I'm going to go ahead and hit update, and now I have a reflections tab. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my list of pages and look at that. What was once called welcome is now listed as reflections here. So I know I need to also have a tab for each of my writing projects. So I'll make this one my source-based essay. All this default stuff, delete it, and then I can paste. You have your source-based essay, you have the document that it's on, you can just copy all of it and you paste it right there. And then when you do that, you'll be able to see it applied to your website. So I wonder if I can actually just find some random thing that I can paste in there to show you how it works. Okay, here's something I was looking at earlier. This obviously is not a full essay, but take whatever you want to put in there, you just hit paste, and then you can preview it. And look at that. One thing you'll notice, so in the menu here, reflections, this used to be a welcome page, I changed it to reflections, and now it's reflected in the menu here. This CV page I've changed to source-based essay, but I haven't updated it. I haven't saved it yet, so it still appears as CV in the preview. And it also may, even after you update it, sometimes takes a second to apply. So if you feel like you've changed the name of a page, but it's not reflected in the menu, weirdly just like give it a second, like a couple refreshes or whatever, and then it should apply. Okay, so this looks good. This looks like the way I want it to, so I'm gonna hit update. And the page is updated. Perfect. So I'll go back to my dashboard, and I want to check out my site. So let's visit the site. So going back to the site, the menu changes haven't applied here yet. Again, just like give it a little bit of time for some reason. Just like if you you start editing other parts of the site and you come back to it, you'll see that the menu item titles have updated. So, but if for some reason you can't figure out how to change your menu item titles, then let me know and I can help you out. So there we go. See, look, it applied. A reflections tab and a source-based essay tab. So under my source-based essay, I know this obviously isn't a real source-based essay, but it is, the text that I pasted in through the dashboard editor. One thing to note here, this widget thing that I put in the left-hand side, I forgot to say this earlier, this applies across all tabs. So it's in the reflections tab, it's in all of these tabs. Okay. All right. So this is basically, I know I didn't really cover a whole lot here. There's obviously way more option. Like even if you just look at what's in the dashboard, there's like all kinds of other things you can do. I'll leave that up to you if you really want to do anything else with it, but I've basically shown you everything you need to do to successfully complete the project. Actually, you know what? Sorry, there's one more thing. Some of you would probably, or most of you would probably figure this out already, but I just wanted to show you just in case. For your composition in two genres project, most of you did not just do written pieces, so you're going to have to insert multimedia, right? So let's say I'm going to go to this tab which is titled Research. I'm going to make that the composition in two genres page. So say you did for your composition of two genres project, you wrote a letter to the editor, so you have one section that's just a letter to the editor, whatever. But below that, you also made a poster. You made a really cool poster, and you have a picture of the poster, and you want to insert that. Rather than typing, you'll just click this plus button right here, and then click Image. And I wonder if that cactus I put, yeah, great. So you'll choose your image, and then you can do all kinds of things to the image. You can apply a filter, you can move it up or down in the order of things on the page. You can change the shape of the picture, you can make it rounded. These styles, yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. You can change the size of the picture, which if it's like a poster, you're probably going to want it to be pretty big. So you can see the whole thing. You can even specifically choose the pixel dimensions of the picture if you want. I don't even know what's under the, some like coding stuff, I'm not going to worry about that. So you can do this with any kind of media. So I put a picture there. If you had a video that you made, you can click the video tab and you can upload the video, or if you put it on YouTube, you can put the YouTube URL in and then it'll appear on the page here. It's like really easy to put all kinds of like various media into this, which is why I use this. It's such an easy way to basically make any sort of project work in the portfolio. So, all that to say, that's how you make this portfolio. At least those are the basic guidelines for it, or the basic, I don't know, instructions. So, if you have questions about this, before you ask me anything, before you say like you don't know how to do something, just fool around with this for a little bit. Um, it's a lot of things you can play with in this software, so try to figure out the solution to whatever the problem is. But if you're just like, I have no idea how to do whatever, I have no idea how to put my essay in, or when I put something in it looks wrong or whatever, if you have specific questions about your personal project, feel free to ask me at any point in time. Every single day after we do presentations, um, I'll have some time that I'll stick around after class. There's actually one day that I have to leave pretty soon after class, but I'll explain that later. For the most part, when we're finished with presentations on any given day, you can come up to me and talk to me about the the portfolio. I can look at yours. I can help you figure it out. I just wanted to give this basic overview so I don't have to repeat the basic instructions for how to do this over and over and over again to everybody. So now that you've watched this, go ahead and try playing around with this on your own. Try putting your documents in, your essay, try putting your composition project in, just to kind of see what it looks like. What I'll say is like start playing with this now so that you're not just starting to put everything in the portfolio, the day before it's due, and then you have all these technical difficulties, and you're like, Ian, I don't know how to do this, help me out. We don't want that to happen, right? So at least try this now, and if you can't figure out how to do it, then talk to me. More than willing to figure out technical difficulties with you. So the the portfolio is due on May 20th, end of the day, May 20th. We don't have class that day, so it'll just by 11:59 p.m. May 20th, because I need to have grades in by May 27th. So you have up until then to work on this. I wanted to give you the assignment way ahead of time so that you could play around with it, weeks before the actual thing is due. So anytime between now and when it's due, May 20th, feel free to talk to me about it. I can work with you on your specific issues. Just let me know. Okay, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you all next class.